You know what, even though Luke Cage and Iron Fist have been cancelled, it is sad news, but there's good news on the horizon because Marvel's Daredevil is back. Finally. You already know what it is, your boy Rashad back again with another video, and we're going to be going into major spoilers for Marvel's Daredevil Season 3. Right, so Daredevil Season 3 kicks off right where Defenders left off. Matt has survived the explosion at Midland Circle and he's been taken care of in the orphanage where he grew up by Sister Maggie and Father Lampton. Now, I'm not going to go into everything that happened in this season. I'm just going to talk about what I liked, what I didn't like, and we're just going to go from there. So if you haven't seen it, this is your spoiler alert, last chance. Watch it, binge it as quickly as you can, and then come back and we can have some fun. So firstly, I'd just like to talk about the characters themselves. Matt, I think this was Charlie Cox's, he brought it this year. The emotional range he went through, the physicality of the role that he had to prepare for, he did his job well. In episode 4, Blindsided, with that like 13 minute long shot, that one take of the prison fight. Oh, I've watched that about 4 times and every single time I am amazed. They put him through so much. The choreography was on point. There were some moments where you could obviously see a punch miss and stuff, but remember, there's no edits. That was all one take. From beginning to end, all one take. Like, you have to literally go and dissect the scene to see when the stunt double comes in, comes out and stuff like that. I think it only happened once or twice, so props to everybody involved because that one scene made the whole episode for me and it elevated this season to godlike status. Like, if you really want to be honest, Daredevil's never faltered, it's never disappointed me, and it started this whole universe off, so I didn't expect anything less this season. Foggy, I loved Foggy this season. He had more backbone and he was still funny. He wasn't attached to Matt in the same ways that he was attached to him in the other seasons, but he was still fighting for him in his own way. Running for DA, I thought that was a brilliant move by him. I loved him and Marcy. I think that they really have like good chemistry. At the beginning, I didn't really like her because she was a bitch and stuff, but you can actually tell in this season she definitely loves him and sees a future with him. If I'm honest, Karen did disappoint me a little bit this season. I've loved Karen from the beginning of Daredevil, but now the way that she gets a bit, I don't know, I don't even know what it is. It's not anything major, so please don't crucify me, but the times that she was really distraught and stuff like that, it got a bit whiny for me, and it's like, we've seen Karen like this already. I don't really care anymore. Like, I understand why she's upset and stuff. The stuff with her parents and her family and her brother and that was great. The flashback episode, not so much. I didn't really need that much time spent on Karen, especially when it wasn't really anything groundbreaking. She did manage to kill her brother, which is a mystery that has been going on since season 1, but it wasn't in the sense that it was by accident. She used to be a crack addict. Like, she didn't mean to kill her brother, but her brother died by her own actions, which gave her a lot of, there's a lot of guilt that weighs on her, which is fair enough. But if she had like murdered her brother in cold blood or something, that would have been the payoff that I would have wanted. There was a payoff, but it just wasn't something that I expected or in the direction I thought they would go. So that's why it was just a little bit underwhelming for me. Apart from that, her character, she did well acting and stuff like that. I just feel like Karen herself, that character, Deborah Ann Woll does a lot of things with her, and I feel like as a character, she has come full circle now. When Bullseye was about to murder her in the church and got Father Lampton instead, I fully thought it was time for her to go. I would have been so happy if she had died at that moment. Not because I don't like the character, but I feel like it would have just pushed the story further and just added to those stakes. And I don't know why, but the revelation that Sister Maggie was actually Matt's mother, even though it was teased that he would meet his mother this season and that she was alive and that sort of thing before the season even came out, it was a complete shock to me. I have no idea why. Maybe I'm stupid, I don't know. When she revealed that she was his mother, I was like, I actually thought his mother was gonna like come into the convent or something at some point, but for her to actually have been with him throughout his life from afar, that was an extra sort of betrayal, so I can understand how Matt was feeling at that time. To be honest, Matt, to his credit, he took it on, he understood what happened, and he had a mission. There was no Matt Murdock on Daredevil, there was just the fight. Like, he didn't really want to be Daredevil anymore, and he didn't really want to be Matt Murdock. He just wanted to get this one thing done, and that was take care of Fisk. So he was in a really dark place, and the duality of it was different. Because as Foggy said, I feel like a part of Matt was buried under Midland Circle, because he wasn't the same person after that. And I understand why he was upset and why he was going down a dark path. And the fact that he did want to kill Fisk, it really made me think, do you know what? Maybe this is what the new Matt is going to be like. In the end, he didn't. But it made sense for the character. Speaking of Fisk, I do not think there's been a TV villain this smart, this charismatic, this intimidating, this brutal, and with a plan this good ever. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, I want to know. You saw in Daredevil season 2 that he let Punisher out and that he was scheming from inside prison. What you don't realize is that he's taken all of his influence, all his money, all his assets, and has created a criminal empire that is so big and so corrupt that he has the FBI, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, as his own personal army by the end of the season. They are wrapped around his fingers to the point where they are taking out his enemies for him. He sends them after Matt, he sends them after Daredevil, he sends them after Foggy, he sends them after Karen. Like, he's using them as his own weapon and they're protecting him. The Kingpin is now protected by the FBI. When that happened and Agent Nadeem found out that he now works for Kingpin, that was like a switch, and I was like, he really might win this shit. I thought Agent Nadeem was a good addition to the series. I enjoyed the family dynamic and that they made us feel for him and his situation, that it was so desperate that he was forced to do certain things. I don't think he did make some bad choices, but he was between a rock and a hard place, so I don't think I could have done anything too much different than he did, to be honest. And last but not least, Bullseye. Agent Poindexter. I don't even know where to start with this brother. I don't know a lot about Bullseye from the comics, so I don't know if this is comic accurate or anything. The only thing I know about him was in the Ben Affleck Daredevil movie, where he really didn't like to miss. He never really missed before, and he could throw things and he could make anything into a weapon, and he had pinpoint accuracy. The way that this series delved into the psyche of Dex was crazy. I didn't feel like I would relate to him at all, but I did. I didn't feel like I would empathize with him at all, which I did. I felt like he was a ticking time bomb from the time he was young. And as the psychologist said, like, he wasn't taught the things that he needed to be taught. And then when he was old enough to know these things, he's already too broken. He was a broken guy, and he needed someone to be his true north, his North Star. And Kingpin manipulated that. And that's one thing that Kingpin can do, and he did. Fisk is a master manipulator, and he showed it in the Fall of Dex. That's what I call it. I call it the Fall of Dex because he started off as a good FBI agent. Kinda, he did kill those two guys in cold blood at the beginning, but they just murdered his team, so fair enough. But by the time Fisk is done with him, he's a cold-blooded murderer, and it's terrifying to see, because it's like, for some people, all it takes is that little push, and on the other side of the spectrum. So it's crazy. It's actually crazy. But I enjoyed the performances from all the actors, so I'm just gonna give them a small round of a motherfucking applause, because I was hooked from episode 1 to 13. Right, so just a quick summary. So I liked the performances, I liked the characters. The character development was crazy. I don't think anybody had as much character development as Matt and Fisk in this, to the point where I was feeling for both of them and annoyed at both of them at certain parts. Matt when he was being too stubborn, Fisk when he seemed to be getting weakened by Vanessa. And I just really enjoyed the dynamics that these characters brought on screen. Watching conversations between any two characters was so interesting. I can't stress to you how happy I was with the fighting in this. Matt was not at 100%, and you could see it. He wasn't. I don't think he will ever be at 100% again. The scenes was tense. The story was dope. It was like a mystery from the beginning to the end. Like, what is Fisk up to? How is he doing what he's doing? What is his end game? And is Matt going to kill him? Those are the questions that I wanted answered, and I was watching over and over. It kept me there. It kept me there. I binged this in 1.5 days. That's how long it took me to finish the season. 1.5 days. Couldn't stop. The things I didn't like this season are literally just the small things that Karen did that were just really annoying. Not in the sense that she's a bad character or anything like that. It's just like, Karen, you've been doing these things, like, you know better now. Why have you not learned from certain mistakes? Going after these people, going after Fisk and trying to provoke him to kill you or to hurt you on camera so he gets put back in prison. These are not things a sane person does. There were some discrepancies with Bullseye's abilities. I wish they went more into them about what the limits and stuff are, because sometimes he was throwing things with precision. Other times, like with the priest, he missed. And I don't know if he missed on purpose, because even though the priest did, I'm not saying the priest didn't stand in front of Karen. If he had been directly in front of Karen when he threw the baton, and that's the way he died, I would have been fine with it. But he was adjacent to her. So Bullseye still had that headshot on Karen. And I don't understand how he would have missed that. I liked the fact that Matt fucked him up. There was never a time that I thought that Bullseye was a better fighter than Matt, even though Matt did himself for some strange reason. But I didn't like that in some of the fights. It only took Bullseye 3 or 4 hits to really put some damage into Matt. But Matt would be fighting Bullseye and putting the work into him, and he'd walk away with a few bruises. It didn't really make no sense. I don't know if that makes sense either. I'm rambling on right now. I'm too excited. So I'm just going to give this show a straight 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. It was amazing. I can't wait to see if they do another season. And if they don't, I didn't really think of that. I really didn't think that they might not do another season of Daredevil. But that's enough out of me, guys. Those are my thoughts on Marvel's Daredevil Season 3. Let me know down in the comments what you thought. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. Leave a like because it will really help me out. And as usual, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Taylor about the fucking flex.